Mr. Vaughn, from the Southern boy. We had to make it work like that. It's a Monday morning, and I've got Sherman here with me. But as always, before we do, we get set up. Okay, well, we're on live now. Are we already live? We're on live. Yeah. Okay, all right then. All right. See, we have to get the countdown ready and everything. All of that old school stuff. Have to get it out of the way and make room for the morning magazine. I'm here with Sherman Smith this morning. It's a Monday. We've got a lot to talk about. First, you know what we say to you. All the good stuff is on the inside. You begin each new day with a heart filled with gratitude. You took that first breath this morning. Your autonomic parasympathetic nervous system took care of that for you. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do a thing. There's a reason to be thankful. And then your heart beat this morning, and that's that energy. That's that energy pumping you up for another day, that divine spark. Go out there and take care of your business this morning. And just remember, no matter how it looks on the outside, no matter how daunting it may look, all of the good stuff is on your side. All of the good stuff, the lock is there with you. All of the good stuff is on the inside with you. You want it, you go in there and get it. And believe me, it's there. I am Paris. I am delighted to have you here on a Monday. We've got places to do and people to go. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And spaces.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. It's a great day to be here. I do trust you caught some of our show with Friends Talking Politics with Stephen Zaresko and his co-hosts this morning. Another exciting adventure this past week on a Wednesday. And just a reminder, you will be hearing some of those shows as rebroadcasts. So you pay close attention, and we'll let you know when they're rebroadcasts and when they're live. But the show is on Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. You're invited to call in. It's politics from a different perspective. And we think you'll find it refreshing and informative. So please be sure you do. Meanwhile, I am Paris, and we are about to kick off our day, ladies and gentlemen.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive the personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental 713-738-1999.
Wanna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground.
And now a message from the future frequency.
Young voters, Gen Z, and millennials, if you're ready to make your voice count, here's how you make it happen. First, register to vote. It only takes a few minutes. Just look up your local election office and follow the steps for your area. Next, verify your information. Confirm your name, your address, and your polling location so nothing slows you down. And don't wait for election day. Vote early. Pick your day, pick your time, and skip the lines. Make your plan to vote early and vote to be heard. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency.
Then we gon' be alright.
This message is powered by Diversity of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source. Informative, entertaining, inspiring. It's the Jackson Political Report, hosted by veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss local, state, national, and international politics. The show features commentary, guest interviews, and audience dialogue. The Jackson Political Report, this Saturday morning, 10 to 11 on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230kcoh.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A Tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH, The Source. Ralph Cooper has covered the legends of HBCUs since 1969. Coaches Eddie Robinson, Jake Gaither, Marino Cassim, John Merritt, Billy Nix, Alex Durley, Clifford Paul, Dr. Rod Page. No broadcaster has covered HBCUs longer than Ralph Cooper, Houston's legendary sportscaster, on 1230 The Source.
The Force Industries Irrigation is now Aquamatic Irrigation, and Michael Von Williams is still your point of contact. Michael has over 27 years experience in the irrigation industry and is licensed and insured, but he now has additional support. So if you have a lawn sprinkler system that is no longer operating properly, or you're tired of lugging water hoses around, call Aquamatic Irrigation at 346-476-9065. If you don't have a lawn sprinkler system, give Aquamatic Irrigation a call to have your automatic lawn sprinkler system installed. Enjoy your lawn and improve your property value. In order to keep your lawn and landscaping in excellent condition, Aquamatic Irrigation also offers routine maintenance programs to check the system for leaks, proper controller settings, and sprinkler head alignment. Call Aquamatic Irrigation, your sprinkler company, 346-476-9065, or visit our website at www.aquamaticirrigation.
All right, we are The Source. Good morning. We do thank you for being here with us. Yes, indeed. And what a weekend it has been. Yes, indeed. I am Paris, here with you. Listen, Sherman, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I tell you what, it's Black Music Month. I don't want to forget that. And I want to start off talking a little bit about that because I watched the Earth, Wind, and Fire Questlove documentary last night.
Did you?
And it was great. But like I've said before, you never want to get to know your heroes, because Maurice White was not necessarily on the up and up. But I give him credit because a lot of the lot of the record people back in the day got caught up, and we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
Got caught up, and he felt like he needed to have control, so he controlled the heck out of that group, according to the documentary.
Sure.
My only regret from that, Paris,
yes,
they did not play On Your Face. And I don't know what, and it was in the credits. It was in the credits. It was the last song in the credits because I stayed till the very end. I watched all the credits and everything. And On Your Face was the last song they listed in the credits, but it's nowhere in the documentary. Now, what that tells me is there's a lot more footage somewhere. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna be looking for.
I'm gonna be searching for that.
Yeah,
But if it's on HBO, if you hadn't seen it, it's great. I also saw somewhere in one of Questlove's posts that they were supposed to get together with Sly in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And everything was agreed upon, and then Sly went AWOL, and they couldn't find it. I believe that would have been one incredible union there, with Sly and Earth, Wind, and Fire on the show together. Yeah. So it's one of those things, but it made for a great weekend. It closed for a great weekend for me. It was just great. Saturday, I went to a memorial for Ernest McMillan. He was a community organizer. A lot. I don't even want to try to go through all the things that he was to this community in Dallas and several other things. He was the first president, I believe, of the Black United Front.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
he was a Houston guy for a lot.
Ernest
And
McMillan.
he the
My man.
event was just full, just packed with power people. I mean, Omawale Lathuli put it together. Gene Locke was there. Shara was there. Alvin Pruitt. A lot of the people from the late '60s, early '70s movement right here in Houston. Dutton was there.
Harold Dutton, Representative Harold Dutton.
Some of the city council people. The guy Steve, and I can't remember Steve's last name, but he was a health director of the health department back when under Sylvester Turner. It was a power packed audience. It's kind of like I felt like, okay, we're preaching to the choir here. We need to be everybody else needs to be listening to what's going on in this particular event, and it was just power packed. I was blown away by the people in the events. Deloitte Parker closed it out with a great exercise that everybody participated in. It was just incredible.
And where was it and what was it again?
It was at the Fifth Ward Multipurpose Center. I want to say it was on Tidwell, off Tidwell.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was basically just a memorial for Ernest McMillan, and it was just incredible. I mean, I drove up in that ton of rain that showed up, and Paris. I sat in my car going, I'm not getting out. And the rain stopped.
Yeah.
And I got out and walked in and everything. But the people came in halfway through the event. The rains poured down again. We were under advisory. And by the time it ended, the sun was out and the humidity was at 120% and the whole thing.
Wow.
So, but it was great. It was great, and I really enjoyed it. And it's things can happen.
Yes.
Things can happen. You have to put the right people in the right time together, but things can happen, folks. We got there. There's hope.
Well, yes, there certainly is. And when it comes to the preaching to the choir, it's good to have a perspective on that, as you well know, because here you are today amplifying the voice of the choir. So the choir is still being heard.
I hope so.
Yes, the choir is still being heard, and someone else. And so, what is it? The old commercial used to be,
and
so
forth,
and so on, and so on, and so on.
Two people tell two people.
Yeah, two people tell two people, and there's a reason for that. So when the choir does sing, there are people to amplify those voices, and that's what's most important.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. And my admiration to you goes out for staying through the rain.
Oh man.
Not everybody can make it.
I mean, it's
through
one of
the
those
rain.
rains where the rain sideways. It wasn't
Yes.
just a regular rain.
Yes,
It was raining
yes,
so hard,
yeah.
the wind was blowing, the rain was sideways.
Yeah.
So, but that's typical Houston. Just wait a few minutes, it'll clear up.
Well, not
That's
everybody
exactly
makes
what
it.
happened.
Yeah, not everybody makes it through the rain. I think there is a sterling example of how the rain can just send things left, and some people it can change. It can change their attitudes. It the weather does affect our temperament. As a matter of fact, let's go to now infamous interview that took place in the rain. I'll play this for you, and audience, pay attention, please.
They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
You'd be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded him, surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying, but let
There's
me
a
ask
lot
you
of
about
evidence.
Todd Blanche. Let me ask
Listen,
about
listen
Todd
to me.
Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk
There's
about Todd
tremendous evidence. There's nothing
Well, it's
but
not been
evidence. The
presented in
election
a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election,
Mr.
and it's
President,
happening again right now
You've
in
never
California.
presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in California.
California, it's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close
That's
to
how
coming
they-
up
that's
with it.
how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're
in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
There's what? Do you have evidence
They're-
to support
all I
that?
have to do is look. All I have to
But
do is
that's
look.
not
And I
evidence.
listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think
and
it's appropriate?
That's how they
that
count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner?
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's.
Wow, that's crossing a line right there. But let's stay with it. Okay, that's crossing a line.
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
You know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about.
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country, we're
court.
like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and
But,
Meet
Mr.
the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough.
And the
Thank you,
Cartoon
Darren. Have a good
Network.
time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain with
all.
you.
I know.
I sat in the rain with you, he says, Sherman.
I
you
traveled
can
all
hear the
way
rain
to
in the
Wisconsin.
background.
On and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin.
Says the country can never be great with a dishonest press. Well, what about a dishonest president? Can a country be great with a dishonest president? Can a country be great with people who call up, down, down, up,
Well, see,
insurrection?
there's evidence.
Freedom?
All I have to do is look. You know, and if you look at the video, he stands up. When he leans forward, he actually reaches out and touches her shoulder.
Yes, he does.
And I think that's psychological. You know, he can't be violent,
yes.
but by touching her shoulder, he's more or less. And I shouldn't probably put this on him, but it's like he's striking her. You know, and that's just the way I see it.
Okay,
so I'm not
yes.
trying to put
Okay,
nothing
no,
on him, but,
I understand. I understand.
It's psychological.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's in the interview and he stands up and he kind of taps her on the shoulder as if to say, you know, you go back and play somewhere else, little girl. You know, he's always been negative about women, and you know, that's just the way
That's
he
an
is.
interesting, that's an interesting take on it. I had not thought of that. I thought maybe it was an effort to humanize her in some way in his own mind because he understands the contradiction between what he's saying and what she was. But I'm certainly open to your interpretation. Could be. It's a lot of layers to this human being. You know. Now let's get into some of what he said there for a moment. See, this is the President of the United States when asked for evidence, saying, in effect, my word, the fact that I say it means there's evidence.
Cause I said so. And I know everybody my age heard that growing up.
Yes, because I say
said
so. And this goes to, sounds a lot like the exchange we have with some of the callers. We are in a place where we minimize or we don't realize or we don't honor the First Amendment. It was, in fact, the First Amendment to the Constitution. And in it, they inscribed the right to have a free press and to assemble and all of those other things. But a free press was so important to them because the people who founded this idea to make a government of people bonded together, not by race or
Creed,
property,
color,
or taxes, those other things, so much as it was although I'm going to correct myself right here. Yeah, it was based on race. A large part of what they did was there's no denying that. It's why I don't want to put that remark out there as if I'm unaware of that. No, a large part of it is about white people. Let's be clear about that. However, that a government could exist beyond tribes, that was the idea of the United States of America. That's why it was called the Great Experiment. That if people were able to, people could be held together by common love of country and love of certain ideals, and not just the people from that country, but other people could be invited in, and it would rest upon the idea that all human beings, they didn't say all human beings, they specifically said all men, but that human beings could govern themselves. That was unusual at the time because governance was the province of monarchs and kings and the like, right? So, and of course, autocrats and dictators. So the president of the United States gives short shrift to that. That seems to be a novelty to him. It's something to be set aside when convenient for him. And this is one of the reasons I think civics ought to be taught. Again, and go back to an earlier grade. This president does violence to the idea of the United States Constitution. He dishonors it. He abuses it. And he teaches others to do so. And specifically, he brings it out of the woodwork with certain types of people because he legitimizes it. And one of the things I think we should teach, if we go back to teaching civics and make it a serious class, one of the reasons would be so people could understand the idea of a social contract. Because it's an abstract idea. I didn't understand it until I was much older. So rather than, I want black history taught, I want all of the histories of the peoples who occupied this space, the United States, to have an understanding of their histories. But one of the reasons I consider it very important to go back is people ought to understand the Mayflower Compact. Though it was a bunch of white men pledging their treasure and their bodies and whatever to the creation of this country and its development. And I think we ought to go back to the Boston Tea Party and understand why people were upset about taxation without representation. I think certain ideas ought to be taught at an early age. And I really think that we should teach about these compacts and agreements because younger people are more inclined in group settings socially. They are more, we're more given towards being selfish. It takes a while to develop for a child to develop the idea that once I move out of this individuation, there are other people surrounding me. It can't all be about me. That's why we say they act like babies. Right.
That's the way society is. When you hit it on the head, it's all about me. It's me.
It's me. Right.
Before.
So yeah.
It's not. It's us.
It's us.
All of
it's us.
It's I and I. It's all of us.
And I think the teaching of that, and I make no apologies from what I'm saying, but I am going to expand it, Sherman, just to say this. This is not to only excoriate Donald Trump, though I think he's the most visible example of it. And I think he's the worst example of it, to be honest. I mean, the more objectionable example of it. Because it's all about what he wants. He denies reality, and he gets other I'm going to use his words, poorly educated. I'm using his words of the people he likes. I'm assuming he's speaking to these people because he says he likes them. They supported me. So obviously he's speaking to his base. And what he understands of his base is that he sees them as poorly educated. That's his words. I'm using his words, identifying him talking to the people that he feels comfortable manipulating because they are pliable. And I'm saying people ought to fight back by getting some additional information. The man told you he's talking to you and that he thinks you're poorly educated. And what does he tell poorly educated people? Don't pay any attention to evidence.
Right.
And sure enough, people don't pay any attention to factual circumstances when it comes to this man, those who follow him blindly. And to digress just a moment, Sherman, you told me about a woman who was visiting another country. Tell that story. Tell me what you saw.
It was, like we said, it's the ugly American. It was just something I saw on one of these stories about reviews and all that. This lady went to actually Portugal, and her review was, they didn't tell us everybody was going to speak in Spanish. Well, you're in
and just to be clear,
lady.
not just in another country. What do they speak in Portugal?
Spanish.
Thank you.
Real Spain,
Thank
Spanish.
you. Spain, Spanish.
Everything was in Spanish. We didn't understand this. But what did you want?
Because people think, oh, Spanish is like where I lived. It's like the Mexican Spanish. It's like, no, this is Castilian.
But even
Spanish.
at that, it's not like we're gonna, whenever you show up, like
you got to show up. You start speaking in my language.
We're gonna speak in your language, but you don't. It was just crazy. It was absolutely crazy, and it just shows that the American ideal that Donald Trump is pushing is that we are the best, and
that the world must adjust to us.
To us.
And if I'm the president, then the world must adjust to me.
Bend the knee to me.
If
I'm
if I make the assertion that these elections were crooked, then the fact that 60-some judges and juries adjudicated this matter and said, no, we can't find elections. I mean, we can't find fraud. It says that even the commissions I appointed are wrong, because they should have sided with me. So the judges were wrong. The judges I appointed were wrong. They should have, and yet there are people who will feel comfortable expressing the opinion that the press is picking on Donald Trump. And this is where I'm all for people having their opinions. Not I'm for it. I think it's people have their opinions. That's just a fact of life. That's an inalienable right. You got to have an opinion. Whether you express it or not, you got it. But when we express our opinions, we shouldn't just, if we're interested in being truthful at all, we ought not just overlook objective facts and discount them and move forward and do what we want to do anyway. Now I'm going to tie this into a larger societal problem. When our young people call themselves taking over a city or municipality. I've been reading about pop-ups in Washington, D.C., and I don't mean the harmless kind. I'm talking about these youngsters have it, some of them have it in their heads that they can take over large blocks of municipalities simply because they want to. These ideas are harmful to society, that you don't live in community with other people. Only that me and my group have this idea. And this idea says that I live in these 10 blocks, I live in these 20 blocks, It's my neighborhood, my people. These are people that I see there. And if we want to take it over, if we're unhappy about something, we are just going into the streets and storm the businesses of other people, and we are just going to take over because we can do it by sheer force. Because there's a rude awakening that comes with that.
Right.
And that awakening is you don't own anything. You don't take over in a place where people have buildings designed especially to lock you up. you know, and have forces to implement that, to make that work. You don't wind up getting your way, even if they appease you for a while. Because sometimes they appease you because, as the older people used to say, give them enough rope and let them
hang themselves.
Thank you, and that so I want our younger people to look at what's going on above them. What kind of examples are we seeing? And don't make the mistake of believing that because this president did it or that person has done it, that I'm just going to go out and do the same thing, that's the way the world operates. It shouldn't operate. Perhaps it should operate so that everybody's pain carried equal weight, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And if you just get into your head that you're going to take over something, it won't go well. It won't end well for those involved, particularly if you try to do it by force. As a matter of fact, it may appear to be going swimmingly for the president, but you can see that there are boundaries being set up against him. And this, at the end, this is not, it's already going badly for him in many places.
He just doesn't want you to know that.
He doesn't want you to know it.
You know,
yes.
He, like we say a lot, he's always look over there.
Yes.
You know, don't look at what I'm doing. Look over there.
Yes.
The man behind. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain thing.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Back to the takeover thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked a lot. Now I'll go back to this periodically in the memorial on Saturday about hope and a plan. You know, and
Yes.
you know, I think about that. You know, you're going to take over an area. What you plan to do?
Yeah.
You know, what's your plan? Just go in there and say, I did it here. I'm on Facebook. What does that accomplish?
What can you run in there? What does take over mean? What,
But they don't have a plan to take over. They just have a plan to overrun.
Overrun,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
They don't know what take over means.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because if you break into a business and you run everybody out and now you're in charge of that business, what are you going to do?
Yes.
You know, you're going to sell. You can't sell.
You can't sell.
You know, you're not going to make any more money than what's already in the little till there.
Right.
And that's just stealing.
Right.
What's the point of doing
You can't stay in the building except for a few hours. You don't
most.
rent. You can't even provide services in that building. You can't provide services into that community. And I see some of my adult brothers and sisters, they're repping their hood. Okay, I get that. You're taking pride in that community. But maybe you should take a more active part in the civic life of that community. Because you're wearing the colors from that you and 30 or 100 others of you have set aside as your designation. What is it that the people in that community depend upon you for? When we look at revolutionaries, true revolutionaries, people gravitated towards them because they at least supplied food. They provided services that the government could not survive. Could not provide, or would not did not want to provide. So the people loved them. They were doing that. When you look at the Black Panthers, you look at Huey P. Newton and company out there, when you looked at Stokely, when you looked at all of the brothers and sisters who were active, and they were actually feeding children.
That's what started it.
They were doing something. When you're talking about this is my
center.
Yes, yeah.
Feeding kids.
Deloitte Parker is a great example.
Deloitte used to say all the
Shape
time,
Community
I flip
Center.
4,000 pancakes a day, feeding those kids.
Yes,
That's a lot of pancakes.
That's right. That's right. And over in Sunnyside for a while, there was a food program as well. They talked about the needs of the people. But when you're talking about muscle,
And overrunning.
yeah,
What's the plan?
that's a different thing. This is why education is important, ladies and gentlemen. The man who is the titular head of this government, he carries the title of executive of this government, said, "I love the poorly educated." I love the poorly educated, meaning that I appeal to the people with whom I identify and the people I work for are the poorly educated.
And they're absolutely verbal, loudly verbal about their support. And
Yes.
they will repeat, and not all of them, some of them have switched over. I believe Janine Fierro got taken down a peg or two this past weekend on her show by a former Trump supporter. But they'll be loud and proud and speak directly against their interests only because he said so.
Only because he
only
said
because
so.
he said so. And they'll speak. No, prices are coming down. Really? What prices are coming down? Eggs.
In what universe is that true? Now, crime is coming down.
Well, yeah.
Okay, crime is coming down, but that was a trend that had begun anyway.
And it's also going back up when
Yeah.
these kids who just graduated from college can't find jobs. You know,
Very
the last
good point.
job
Report.
announcement was fairly decent, but come on, that doesn't take all the millions of jobs that have been lost over the past year. And these kids are graduating, and they're not going to be able to find work, and they're not going to want to do $7.25 an hour. And they went to college, man. They got degrees. They don't want to take a $20,000 a year job. I've been there and done that. I tell you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of points that it just trickles down all the way down. All these I want to call them policies, but they're not really policies. All these things that are happening, they're trickling down, and we're going to pay for it. You know, not just the black, brown, Asian poor. Everybody in this country is going to pay for it.
Yeah, but I wanted to just make that observation, though, about teaching our young people civics, going into schools and doing it at an earlier phase of education. Because while we're talking about cutting things, see, the classes like civics get cut.
All music, all the arts.
Oh, yeah,
all that
the
stuff
music
gets
and the
cut.
arts, right? The civics is such a vital piece because we're doing two things. We're urging people to get involved in civics, and at the same time confusing them about what should be productive behavior as a citizen.
Absolutely.
The rights that they have and what they should expect. And yes, it can help some people, I think, understand why there are guidelines. We have boundaries so that we can establish norms. And when you don't establish norms, it's been my observation that anything goes.
Any and everything.
And
goes.
you just heard that from the president. There are no boundaries. Anything goes except what I think should go on. Anything outside of that particular boundary. I have no boundaries for me, but I have boundaries for everybody else.
You and everybody else.
And that's one of the reasons I do think that being an informed voter is such a part of this. And I will not limit it to being an informed voter, being an informed citizen.
And see, now you're saying civics, you're saying citizens, you're saying voting. And Paris, you left me too long with your paper this morning. I don't know why you do this stuff. Houston Chronicle, top dredge disposal is shifting offshore. And one of the first things they talk about is the Army Corps plans to dump or deposit port sludge near the historically black Pleasantville area. When did Pleasantville move offshore? You know, that's the
right.
first question.
Yes.
So the article is, people say, oh, offshore, that has nothing to do with me. But they're dumping stuff near Pleasantville. And right under that, it talks about funding change on dumping. And they're talking about the funding for picking up dump in neighborhoods. And you've had Travis McGee and some other people talk about that. It's sad that we have to ask the city to stop dumping, illegal dumping.
Right.
There's nothing you can do with an old tire and an old mattress.
Right.
You can't
Yes.
give away an old mattress. It can be almost brand new.
You're
And
right.
most people will not. I'm talking the people who actually try to give this stuff and reuse it and recycle it in terms of giving it to somebody else who needs it or who can use it, because there is no throw away. It doesn't go away, and I've said
Yes.
this before on this show. It's somewhere else, but it's not
That's not-
away.
yeah.
It once you make something on this planet, and it seems like you're pulling planetary things that they should go back to the planet, but it doesn't work like that, because we synthesize, then we add chemicals,
Yes,
and then we do
yeah.
all kind of stuff.
Forever chemicals,
forever
that's
chemical
what
stuff
it
takes
is.
2,000 years to dispose,
Yeah.
and we dump it at the bottom of the ocean. Well, at one point, the ocean is going to be full of mattresses, man. We can't. It's going to
Right,
absorb all the
right,
water, man.
right,
Come on,
right,
yeah, okay,
right.
not in our lifetime, but that breaks it down to the absolute level when you're talking about civics and you're talking
Yes.
about responsibility and you're talking about people being actually aware of what's going on. That's front page Houston Chronicle that we need to pay attention to. There's dumping in neighborhoods that we need to stop. There's no place to put it. I think there's the park in Sunnyside. They're saying that was built on top of a dump. We
Yeah.
used to dump stuff and then cover it up.
Yeah.
At some point, there's not going to be any place all of it is not going to biodegrade, so to speak.
Right.
And if it does in the wrong spot, you can have whole parts of the park sinking. I think it's a great park. And I'm not putting that part down. I'm just talking about what we as people are doing in terms of dumps and reusable things that you want to recycle, but where does it go to recycle? It's only like 10% of the things that are recyclable are actually recycled. I've been putting.
Yes, I've been hearing about this. That the whole thing was like a scam. It didn't start as that. There were people with genuine intentions, but somewhere along the way, people were just reporting inaccurate figures. I mean, the number of things being claimed to be recycled were nowhere near the actual number.
The things you would think should be recyclable.
Yeah.
You remember back in the day, you used to take your soda bottles back to the store and get your 2 to 5 cent deposit back,
yeah.
and they would take those things and supposedly clean them out and refill them with soda and put them back on the shelves. Well, then they decided, nah, that won't work out. Let's just do plastic. Yeah, and plastic bottles came into effect, and we have to think differently. Excuse me.
We do.
About the way we're going to leave this world.
We do.
To our kids.
We do.
So.
We do. And there's a price for not doing it. There's a price for not doing it, and of course, another byproduct of that is this lack of regulation, or I should say, the lax enforcement for these forever chemicals, for regulations regarding the operation of these plants and these chemicals, these places. There's a price to be paid for all of this.
I think it's interesting that I went to first time I went to Freeport down around Dow Chemical. The streets are named after like bromide and chloride, and that's the street names around Dow. I'm like, and this has been
sad.
years
Yeah.
and years and years
Yeah.
that it's been like this. So that lets you know that they're bringing in these chemicals in big ships.
Yeah.
And if you're on a certain street, then you're going to be working with that particular chemical, or you lead you up to that point where that chemical is being offloaded and put in these different whatever it is they do down there. Because I don't want to throw some things out.
Sure.
We're getting people on Facebook. I'm sorry, on YouTube.
Oh, good. Okay.
Call in 713-668-1230 if you want to get a part of the conversation. Paris Eley Morning Magazine. We're chopping it up.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we'll be back. We'll be back in a moment. There's more to be said about the president's interview, though not that exclusively, but some other thoughts some of you may have about what's going on out there. So in just a few moments, we'll be back and we'll chop it up with you right here on the Morning Magazine. Don't forget, later this morning, tips.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230kcoh.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A Tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Everybody's talking about the high price of eggs. I don't know much about eggs, but I tell you this. If you want great chicken at a great price, how about Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside? Let's see what his customers are saying. Michelle writes, Chicken Plus has some of the best fried chicken and best fried okra in the city. We stay about 45 minutes away, but the drive is definitely worth it. E. Max says, the chicken is seasoned so well and every bite has a special crunch. It's my go-to chicken spot when I want homemade fried chicken that's always good. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Great fried chicken, okra, rice and gravy, desserts. You're going to find it all at Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside. You don't have time to make the drive? Hey, no problem. You can order Chicken Plus on DoorDash and Uber Eats. You better do what you got to do to get your hands on some of that great fried chicken, the best fried chicken in the city. Great chicken at great prices. That's Chicken Plus. See you there.
Informative, entertaining, inspiring. It's the Jackson Political Report, hosted by veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss local, state, national, and international politics. The show features commentary, guest interviews, and audience dialogue. The Jackson Political Report, this Saturday morning, 10 to 11 on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
In life's most difficult moments, comfort matters. At Lord Edward Memorial, we believe every life is a blessing worth honoring with dignity and care. With a combined 60 years of experience, our compassionate staff walks beside your family with faith, respect, and understanding. Lord Edward Memorial, serving families with grace, compassion, and heartfelt care. Visit us at 6677 Rookin Street, Houston, 77074, or give us a phone call at 346-446-6675.
Saturday, we're taking you back with Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks. Soulful, funky, rhythm and blues, disco, doo-wop, rock and roll, new jack swing, and everything in between. Inside Tracks has all the classics for you, and even those forgotten gems too. So join Carrie Lewis on Inside Tracks every Saturday afternoon, beginning at 2 p.m. only on KCOH 1230 The Source.
All right. Good morning. You're at Paris Eley Morning Magazine. We have open lines, and we are ready to go. And caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Paris. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm wonderful, Paris. Thank you for asking. Paris, first of all, I would rather have a root canal with no anesthesia rather than see a documentary by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Paris. And ladies and gentlemen, write this down as you have pen and paper, including you, Sherman. June the 14th, King Trump's birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Let us not forget that special day. And there are special people in this world, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know, Mike. The root canal people are booked up for that day.
Dr. Walls is waiting for me?
I know Dr. Walls got a lot of root canals lined up that day.
Well, in my case, he would do it for free. Right.
I don't know if you want that.
He gets it. Look, there are special people in the world, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you, just think of this.
if you had the power, whether it's good or bad, of Donald Trump, you would have a bigger audience, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're talking to a relatively small audience, including myself, compared to my guy's audience. Okay, when he talks, you might disagree, you might agree, call him a clown, call him a Mr. Intelligent, but you listen, you do listen to what he has to say, because you talk about it, and that's a beautiful thing. That's how much power you have. So until you get to that level, just remember, you're just yapping away. I'm talking about myself also. Look, how special is he? Madison Square Garden tonight. The Knicks against the Spurs. They're saying New Yorkers have to be there 2 hours earlier than game time. I mean, what about fashionably late? Especially people with money. You're asking them to get there 2 hours before an event starts. Yeah, right, Paris. And but they will have to comply. But I guarantee you, my guy doesn't have to show up 2 hours earlier than game time. He can show up.
He doesn't have to show up. You know, don't forget that. He does not have to show up. There's an idea.
But he's a Knicks. He and Paris are Knicks fans. Come on, Sherman.
He hates the Knicks. Come on, he's just doing this for publicity.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay.
I mean, come on.
Any publicity is good or bad. It's publicity, right, Paris? Whether you like me or not, ladies and gentlemen, just keep calling, Texas Mike. If you're loud, I'll take it. Look, the game tonight. Most of the players, obviously, maybe people don't know, they're hiding, are black. And when you scan the audience, most of the audience is non-black, ladies. Yeah, I'm telling you anything you haven't heard before. Yeah, players are black, and the audience are filthy, rich, white, ladies and gentlemen. And that doesn't tell you anything. It's America right there.
Business. If you can get $1,000 for a ticket, charge $1,000.
And business has to do with race, ladies and gentlemen. I'm connecting that, and he knows where I was going. And there's nothing new about that. It's a portrait of America. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, understand that. And if you have money, you have power, and you can get into certain places. But without money and power, and they're both, I'm saying they're kind of almost the same thing, you're just talking away and having all the knowledge, whether it be right, I'll give you that, without power. So what good is saying we should teach this, and here's how life should be under the world of the magazine, and I might even agree, okay, Paris, but we have no power, Paris. So keep on yapping, ladies and gentlemen. See where that gets you, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not least, look, it's been said in psychology, you can't really understand and communicate with someone else if you can't get into their mind, their perspective, what their understanding is. Which one is harder, Sherman? For Trump to understand Paris and where he comes from, what he's talking about, or for Paris to understand Trump and expand that to black and white? If you can't understand, and you can't, because unless you've lived their life, you can't possibly walk in their shoes. So who among us can relate to Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen? Very few of them. And vice versa. Paris knows what I just said. And it's deep if you want to go deep. Have a good day, Sherman with Paris. Talk to you later.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Run on.
I'll save it a couple. I will go. No. I'll say I would. Well, just let me say it's not what the Paris understands Trump. Does Trump understand fairness? that's see. It's framed wrong. You put it between two people. If Trump couldn't understand why I'm hungry, that's fine. That's on him. But if he can't understand the concept of deprivation, if he can't understand the concept of people needing things, then that's a bigger problem, because he comes in far more people that I will ever come into contact with. He has his might, and And here's what we should. This is what we have to be on guard against, Sherman. It is simply this. See, this is when you make a remark like, I think he thinks that, I think that, everybody thinks that. When we say everybody, we begin taking down barriers that should be up, because then we normalize it. That's the idea, to make you think that, oh yeah, he does this, but everybody does that. That's not true. Everybody doesn't do it.
All right. Now, good morning, caller. You're on. You get to follow that.
Yeah, really. I'm Perry, though. Yes, good morning, Sherman and Perry.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah. Not only Paris points out that everybody doesn't think like that or does that, everybody can't do it in the system that we live in.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that question arrived, and the caller said you can put it in terms of black and white. I'm assuming he means racism, but that's the only time black or white exists, because that's both of those are racist terms. So just no more. All white people know more about racism. Oh, there we go. All white people know more about racism and white supremacy than non-white people. You're right, caller, because they created it. Yeah. Hell, they stole me.
They live it. They live it every day.
Yeah.
And don't realize
they maintain it. Mm-hmm. Yes, they maintain. Oh, but let me say this, Brother Sherman. They realize it. The caller uses Trump as an example, metaphor, whatever. He's a representative. He knows exactly what he's doing. So does the rest of them. When he says there's some good people on both sides, and one of the sides is the Proud Boys, a.k.a. Klan, he knows what he's saying when he takes down black history, when he causes the black generals and high-ranking officials of various organizations to be fired. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Absolutely.
So the question, it was a good statement, caller. Yeah, that's the most excellent statement. A question? Who knows the most? Trump, and that's representation of white, or Paris? That's what he said. It's always gonna be Trump, white, because they know they put this together. Okay, quickly, they establish racism. They put maintenance on racism, just like you do your car. They expand racism. It's even in Africa. They fix racism to the point that it is refined. Those four things.
It's financial.
No,
You're leaving out financial. Racism is financial.
That's yes, absolutely. That's in the 10 areas of human activity. Mm-hmm. You're right, Sherman. Financial, economics, education, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health are all areas of human activity that racism, white supremacy operates in. Thank you. I ain't gonna hold y'all up.
No, we appreciate your call, man. We absolutely do. Thanks. You know where we are.
Thank you. Yes, most definitely.
713-668-1230. You can participate in the call.
Yeah, all you have to do is give us you can participate in the call this morning, ladies and gentlemen, and there are other things on the table, of course, the Iran war.
Look over here. You didn't see me arguing with that lady. You know, no, there's a war in Iran. No, not really. No, Epstein. Wait a minute. Look over there.
And the absolute disregard for personal interaction behavior, for setting an example on relational behavior. The UFC fight is an extension of a fighting personality. This guy's in combat with anybody, doesn't matter. I'm going to say whatever's on my mind, and any thought at curtailing what's on my mind, you can throw it out of the window because I'm going to say it.
You can throw it out the window. Okay, we're going to go to the call. Morning, caller, you're on.
Yes, good morning. Black Music History Month.
Good morning, sir. All right. What you got for us?
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you.
Yes,
what you
sir.
got for me?
We can.
I'm not confused, but I had an observation that talk about in physics. What is there? There's an action. There's a reaction.
All right. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
What?
Equal and opposite. Equal and opposite reaction.
What does that mean? Equal and opposite. To you understand? Share that with me, because I'm trying to understand this issue when we talk about personalities. Are we talking about personalities when we talk about, for instance, gentlemen say white supremacy? Is that personality or is that a policy? A combination of both? I'm trying to understand.
Okay, I'm a little confused, but I believe it's a policy where it's not personality. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is we talk about Trump. He's a personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the dangerous part.
Okay, what's the dangerous part?
Is policy.
What policy does Trump have?
Exactly. Policy. Trump has no policy. Trump is following someone else's policy.
Well,
okay, in the guise of, excuse me?
No, I just, no, you go ahead and finish. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, Pat, I was going to be a PhD. I was on my way to PhD.
okay, I understand.
Some stopped me.
Come on,
I finished at the 8th grade, you know?
Yeah. I was on my way to a PhD. I was a pretty horrible dude.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to understand. We connect personalities to policy, and we attack the personality. We spend most of our energy attacking or disparaging or having an opposite reaction to the personality, as opposed to understanding the ramifications and the long-term damage of policy. You see, the Civil Rights Act of 1965, that's over 60 years of attempts to dismantle and discredit it based on policy. They never mentioned, they'll tag along LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, as the progenitor of the policy, but not looking at the circumstances that surrounded the policy that led credence to its implementation. And so today, I'm just trying to understand, growing up under the benefits of the Civil Rights Act, even before I got to the voting age of 18, I benefited. And so the personality, I think we've been trained or we've been distracted to focus on personalities as opposed to policies and procedures. What would this mean on the ground?
Okay.
I mean, this got the same thing with they talk about the price of the NBA tickets in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, for the vast majority of a basketball fans,
Don, I gotta stop you right there. Otherwise, we're going to conflate two issues, and I think we're better off staying with your question. It's not a diss to you, Don. It's not a diss to you. But I'm saying to pursue the particular issue you're talking about, because it is a fair question. But I think if we start comparing if we use other analogies, it's hard to do on air, Don. That's what I'm saying. So we maybe just want to simplify it. Because it sounds to me like you're saying, are we conflating personalities with policy? See, that's what it sounds like
That's what I wanted to try to get to.
To me, so I'll take a shot at that part.
Okay.
I think Donald Trump's policy is coming from a black man with a black personality. If it were a preacher, would be just as objectionable. It is the quality of the policy that I think people are reacting to. We've had some objectionable. We've had some nice people with good personalities who produced lousy policies. We have had some people who you wouldn't want near your. You wouldn't want to. You want anywhere in your neighborhood on certain occasions, but they have come up with policies that have been beneficial. I mean, this is where I think we really do have to concentrate on whether the policy is harmful or helpful. I voted for things for people who I did not like in certain areas, but their policy was agreeable to me on civil rights, and I thought that overall outweighed maybe some other things that I didn't like about them. Is that right? Does that come close to what you were saying?
Well, let me say this then, if I may. Let's talk about you took this Black Music History Month, and y'all spoke last week. I believe it was last week that Patti LaBelle went to the Shade Community Center.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what does that have to do with her music?
Nothing.
Very little to me. That shows a different prism of her being in touch with the people.
Okay.
She wasn't going there trying to promote an album and all this type of stuff. So what I'm saying is, and you and the radio station shared that information with us, that Patti LaBelle. I would have never known Patti LaBelle went to the Shea Community Center.
Well,
okay?
well, let's put it this way. You wouldn't have ever cared about Patti LaBelle had she not done the music that she did. You see how those are tied, though? So I'm saying she used her music, which lifted her up first. She was not known as a civil rights activist. She's known as a singer, as an astounding singer, and she took her time. That was the story. And that automatically helps promote any records that she has coming out. And more importantly, at where she is now on her recording status, even if she doesn't have a song coming out, it helps promote her catalog. But that's more out of goodwill than calculated effort.
Well, okay, yes, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, Paris, there are some sisters out here who can sing, and they're not a Patti LaBelle status.
And their job is the job of a record company is to get them to Patti LaBelle status. That's it. Until then, they can visit these nice places. That's why you see young acts going to those kinds of places, hoping to do those kinds of tours. But people don't turn out to see them the way they do Patti LaBelle because it all goes back to marketing in this case.
Right. So I'm gonna close on this. I'm promoting that the personalities that we see is one thing, but the reality and the day-to-day appreciation of policy and those who promote community is a totally different thing. But that doesn't mean one is bad or the other. To watch an NBA game on TV is one thing. To see it in person is another. But who has the ability to afford a ticket? Doesn't make it less of a game, because you can go and watch your local high school game. You can catch those guys, men and women, when they are boys and girls coming up. You understand what I'm saying? So it's based on the strength of the community. Everything is based on the strength of the community, leading out of families and individuals who have the support and the encouragement not to be the next Patti LaBelle, the singer, but be the next Patti LaBelle who's willing to allow her gift to be shared in a very promising way. For those who can reach the top, and to those who can't reach the top, I'm willing to go to their level and to their communities and show you that I'm still connected to the community. Okay, and that to me means that we are not looking at personalities, we're looking at policies and people as human beings.
Well, the problem that I'm having with, there was a guy who called in, and I was sitting here, and he said, "Oh, it's that guy that hates Trump." I don't hate Trump. I don't give him that much of my energy. But the policies that, well, I hate to say policies because they're not policies, but the actions that he's taken directly affect me. They directly affect you. They directly affect your neighborhood and every neighborhood connected to your neighborhood, up, and through. And those are that's what I have an issue with. I don't have an issue with the person Donald Trump. I have an issue with what he's projecting and what he's putting out there. And contrary to popular belief, which I don't think is popular belief, I don't believe he's the one doing it. He's just going on with whatever Stephen Miller and the other people behind him say, we need to do this. You know, I said last week, Project 2025, okay, well, that's over with. Well, they had like 1,900 things they wanted to do in Project 2025, and they've accomplished about 1,300 of them. So, no, 2025 is still here. But because it's 2026, we forgot about 2025.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Thank you. Have a great day, man. We appreciate you. Appreciate all the calls, especially you, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
A couple of brief comments on the subject y'all was talking about. Like the first one y'all was speaking about Trump and his interview Sunday morning.
If you want to call it an interview.
Well, that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be. It wound up being a child. What do you call it when the child falls out in the middle of the store?
Tantrum. Well, I'm wondering if it was planned like that, or did he actually decide he had took enough, like he said, and he tapped on the shoulder when he got up. Like, in my opinion, he was trying to give her the sign to stop talking. But in my opinion, that's why I figure they need to get these little women. In fact, that's the reason why they put them there, to try to intimidate the man so that he don't, get abusive or something. But that's why they should have a man interviewing a man, because, it just would be more appropriate if somebody get out of hand.
Well, I disagree with that. I think that she's a very good interview person. She knows the policies. She knows she's got a lot going for her. I think it's on him to give her the respect that she deserves as an interviewer.
Yeah, but that's why they put it there, so that it comes down on the man who's talking. That's the whole thing. Like when you go to any law office or any store, they put women there, like in front of the man, because they're like, well, if he get abusive with her, then we can jump in. And then they put her there, and she don't be acting right either.
Hey, hold on a minute. Hold on. I appreciate where you're going.
The phones are gonna blow up on you.
But I got to tell you, nobody if he gets abusive with any woman, when Donald Trump gets abusive with any woman, all of his fans go blind. They don't even see it. So having a woman there would be the worst. And I'm not saying I subscribe to that theory. I think I'm more in Sherman's camp on that. Yeah, but listen, if they saw him abusing a woman, well, we see. We don't have to ask. Look at E. Jean Carroll. How many people stood up for her? How many people stood up for the people who are in the Epstein files? Those white men don't care nothing about those women. I mean, that is absolutely established now.
They care about their money.
They don't care about those girls. They don't think that white men in power don't stop rolling because you put a woman in front of them. That's the point. The point is the cruelty. Some of his fans like it.
Yeah, you brought up the point. The point that when he stood up, he tapped her on the shoulder, And we talked about that a little earlier. Paris and I talked about that a little earlier. My view is he tapped her on the shoulder as a way of him getting back to her, saying, go sit down, little girl, before I actually do something worse to you. That's the way I saw it. Now, I don't know how you saw it or how it came across to anybody else.
Yeah, now I'm wondering if it was a man, would he have done the same
He wouldn't
thing?
have touched a man.
No, he wouldn't have done
He would
that.
not
He
have
wouldn't have done
touched.
that.
He
Yeah.
would not have touched a man.
Yeah.
But hey, but moving to that killing where Mr. Child, he shot the kid in the back. Now,
What are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
Killing and Mr. Chow shot the young boy in the back who was shopping inside the store at the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Just want to make clear.
All right. So, I mean, I'm under the impression anytime you shot in the back, the shooter is wrong. But in this situation, and I don't know all of the details, I couldn't even find a video on it, but they got him not free, and he shot a kid in the back. I don't understand that, and I'm looking at the law wasn't enforced there in court, because we and us black folks, you know, we got a lot of this kind of law problem, that especially another one that's coming up as well. But all you can hear is people like the Black Panthers talking. We don't have a plan of action. See, like, these people, they got a plan of action, because you see how they redistricted? That's action. They didn't talk about nothing. They just did it. But us, all we basically do is talk, but we don't have a plan of action to do something.
Well,
and I think
that's because when we said, well, you mentioned the Panthers. The Panthers were first a let's feed the community company, and then they saw the violence happening when the police and everything. They said, okay, we need to protect our community. Well, protect means guns. And what happened to the Panthers when they started carrying guns?
I remember. You see, what they told us back then is that we not the police, so you can't have an organization like us. But that's what we need. We need an organization like them, like the police, because that was really their organization way back from the slavery time. They created that way back then.
You're right.
And we didn't know, but that's the only way we can protect our community. But when they saw the Panthers wanted to do that, they said, "Oh no, we're gonna shut that down because we don't agree with them."
No, they didn't want them carrying guns.
That's right, but they're carrying them.
Even though it was okay for everybody else to carry them, they didn't want the Panthers to have guns.
That's right. They don't want you with it. So like that, we don't have a plan of action to do anything. But their system is the only system.
Well, let me and we talked about their system too already today. But let me tell you, you get you a group of guys, and all of y'all get AKs, and you march downtown, and let's see what kind of reaction gonna happen. Okay.
Well, let me add something else. Let me caller. I just want to tell you something else about that. You may already know. They were marching legally. The Panthers were marching, but that's what they knew. They had studied the law. You could have a long gun. It was perfectly legal until they marched on the governor's mansion in Sacramento, California, and Ronald Reagan knew all of those
Iran to have the nuclear weapon, right? So if they do, they're going to do bad things, and that's the general thought process there, right? So we try to keep them from developing, and he went, he harched on Obama, and same thing with Biden, and that he's the only guy who can fix anything and does it right and does it quickly, obliterate things, and nothing's happening. But these people are still at the same place they were before. They still have their nuclear capabilities. They still have their weapons. But according to him, he's got it all done, right? Then he gets mad.
But the thing is, they already said they weren't going to do this. So why are we attacking them if they're already under account? Well, they weren't because he tore it up. But hey.
Yeah. So and then the real thing that he's, when he's tired of the interview and then you ask him a question that he doesn't like, and all you got to do is bring up one thing: the election.
Yeah, you don't have to bring that up. You can bring up Epstein, and she didn't get to do that.
She didn't get to that part.
He's got a lot of trigger points.
So that was definitely because that's when he just started going on, and you can tell his face was getting redder, and he's just getting mad and mad. I said, well, it won't be long before he walks out.
From orange to red, it was real quick. You couldn't take bets on that. It happened so quick. But anyway.
Yeah, but my thing is that the unprofessionalism on his part is that in contrast when previous presidents, no matter who they were, they don't conduct themselves in that manner he does. They answer their questions and the best, diplomatically, and he doesn't do that.
I'll give you a good example. What's his name, Prince? Which one was it that they took? Was it Prince Charles? No, it wasn't Prince Charles. The one that just lost his status with the court when he had to be interviewed. He stood there and lied with a straight face and thought he got away with it. But he stood there and handled it professionally, put it like that now. But that's probably what Trump should have done. Just make your point, let them ask you another question, lie again, make your point, and keep right on moving. But he can't do that. He's a child.
There it is, infantile.
Yeah, tantrum.
That's what you're dealing with, a small infantile person that wants to have his way, and you're going to see my point of view at it, and if you're not going to see my point of view, then I'm going to stomp and scream and yell and cry and get mad and walk out and start breaking things, and that's going to be it because I got all the power.
Yeah, 3 ways. I'm right. Either I'm right or you're wrong, or else I'm right again. That's his action. Okay, my man.
And the tremendous points about all the lies you were talking about, the beef, the farmers, all this money he gave to the farmers, and they're doing fine.
Almost 50% have declared bankruptcy. Almost 50% of the farmers have declared bankruptcy, but they're doing fine.
And then the gas is going to go down as soon as the war over. In the war, the gas will go down now. So if you got that control, then end the war and let people be able to have affordability to buy them some groceries and other things, necessities they need to format their life.
And see, I have to leave here and go to the gas station now. See, you're just messing with me, man.
well, according to one of your callers before that, just 50 cents more of a gallon doesn't affect your pocketbook at all. So.
Yeah, but it's $1.50. That's $1.50 more a gallon, and that's only because we're in Texas.
All right. Well, another one of your callers say that you can catch the bus. You had a caller back in the day.
In Texas. In Houston, Texas, you can catch the bus. Anyway.
He said, catch the bus if you need to go to work. I said, okay. All right, guys.
We got to run, man. We appreciate it, man. Keep everything
I'm at the airport. Hey, get your passport in there.
Get your passport. Get your passport. Passport's here.
But don't be mad when that picture of Trump is on your passport.
Oh, Lord. Don't be mad at me. See, now you got by. Caller, you're on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call. How y'all doing this morning?
Good morning.
Yes, sir. What's good?
Yeah, this is a glass of brandy. After that coffee, man, I need some brandy. Now, he said this was an opportunity for blacks to make their case for this money that they set aside for these people that committed acts against the government. That's two different animals. That cannot be addressed in that. That's not the right form for that, in my opinion.
Yes, I think you're right.
And then
I think you're
the way
right.
Trump continues to disrespect black people in general, whether male or female, he doesn't regard black people have any knowledge, any substance. He figured he's above and beyond anybody. Every time you turn around, he's a genius. He's a genius at being an idiot. That's the only thing to be a genius is. You know, what he's trying to do is deflect. Keep people away from this Epstein deal. That's the key to getting this behind out of office. Him and his other cronies is involved in that. There's a lot of people involved in it that don't want to shed light on it. The more they have this information in their hands, the more they can wash the instruments down.
That should be the fun. That should be the fun. Just all these rich people who took advantage of these little girls. They need to be stripped of a lot of money and paid to those people. That's my
That's
opinion.
right. These are not millionaires. These are billionaires. Some billionaires involved in that that don't want to come out.
I say million as a default, but yeah, you're
right.
You're right. You're right. All right.
And the plan is,
Mm-hmm.
and for the other guys, of course, the plan is what all people do is black people complain, don't have a plan. You got to have mechanisms in place to implement your plan. If your base is already in place and you got all the necessary tools to implement your plan, yeah, you can put forward the agenda. But the only thing we can do is to get people in place that can implement those plans. That's the key.
And they're trying to keep all our people out of perceived positions to for us to implement that plan. All right, my man, we appreciate you. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Caller, your own.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm Gucci.
All right, then. All right, then. You know, look, I added something to my name, my new rap name. I'm Gucci Yummy. I'm Gucci Yummy. I'm Japanese black. I'm Gucci Yummy.
You blazing. He blazing.
Hey, Terrence, you know what,
yes,
man?
Yeah.
I know I made a delivery over the weekend, and I delivered to this guy. He work at the airport, and he say, "Well, man," I say, "How you doing, my brother?" Hey, man, I'm Gucci. I say, "Man, I ain't heard that thing. I ain't heard that before, man. Somebody from Virginia said that." He said, "Really?" And I told him about the radio station. You know. I think he might be listening.
Okay. Well, big ups to him, my Gucci brother.
Yeah.
Gucci. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I'm just going to say, Brother Coffee don't know nothing about the Superfly in the back. He don't know what that kind of slang is. He just throwed it out there out the blue. I guess he heard it in the barber shop.
I understand where he was getting to for his point. We just have different opinions on it. I'm okay with him saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sound he got kind of upset, man. Like, because y'all was, trying to find out what you really mean.
You weren't ganging up on him. It's just. I mean, he's used it before, but every conversation just can't be the same. You can't have the same response to everything, and then not at some point think about the other people who are listening out there. If you'll notice, sometimes when people come over here, if you notice, sometimes when people come on here, they'll use an acronym from their job, and I will step in and say, okay, what does that acronym mean? What does that mean? Break it down for the people, or I would break it down for them myself. If I happen to know it's obscure. Yeah. So that was the point of that exchange, to let people know what you are asking them to do. What are you suggesting that they do if they hate the game?
In context of the conversation we were having.
Yeah, in context of the conversation we were having.
Well, I'm going to say black don't crack, man. We stand for what we believe in.
Mm-hmm.
We want our reparation.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
hey, you know what?
It won't happen in my lifetime, I know, but hey.
But you know what? But see, this is part of the deception that they'll let you talk about that until you get to a courtroom. And then that's when the reality is going to hit. You can't tie this to that bill unless you got a damn good set of lawyers. Now, and maybe there's some people somewhere who've got the lawyers, but you got to test standing. There are a lot of things you got to do. When they write money for a bill, the president can take it. Donald Trump has told us that he can take it from one pot and move it to another. He can do that. But I just don't see him being inclined to do that. Do you?
No.
Because if he wanted to do that, couldn't he have included people who've been wronged by the government? It's not like black people are a secret in this country. He could have done that if that's what he meant it. But that's what he meant it to be. But he didn't want that. He wants that pot as
There's been a UN resolution. There's been a UN resolution that what America did to the slaves is wrong, and we should be compensated.
Right.
Don't take my word for it to look it up.
Yeah.
But we'll go from there, man. We'll go
14th
from
Amendments and all of that.
Yes. Yeah.
One other thing I'm gonna
Yes,
say
sir.
is I listened to the interview, and that young lady did not stop trying to make her point to him, and he got real upset. And I heard you say he touched her on the shoulder. That's like an assault, you know.
It
because
is.
he was upset, you know,
Yeah.
about her questioning. What about Todd Blanche? You know, you know, that's what I was hearing, and then he was getting upset about that. He was trying to deflect that conversation, and she kept on pushing it, you know. So,
He was trying
Big
to
up to
make
her.
a thing that was true untrue. That's what he was doing. He was trying to. He kept saying, "It's crooked. You're crooked." And she said the most simple thing. Where's the evidence? You have. As a matter of fact, she went a step further. She said, "You have no evidence. You have shown us no evidence of that." Now, who gets angry at somebody who says, "Well, you make this allegation. Give us, show us some evidence," right? I mean, that's just common sense.
Said he turned red in the face, Paris.
He turned from orange to red. He turned from orange to red.
He turned to nectarine. He turned nectarine.
I don't know what that was. All right, my brother.
Hey, man, y'all keep up the good work, man.
Thank
Always,
you, sir.
my
Appreciate
brother.
you call.
Always.
Caller, you're on.
Brother Sherm, Brother Parrish.
What's Gucci?
But I was compelled to call. 'Cause I try to make it make sense. I call this show and others. I try to make it make sense to the people. And for those who don't know what the word evidence means, that means where's the proof, just in case. Keep it simple. You know, Parrish and Sherm, check this out. Now, is this the same government that had a problem with black women in the Philly slum giving other black women money, grant money to start their business? Is this the same government who had a problem with the black farmers when they was about to get compensated and somebody follows on them, so give them that money? So how in the heck do these people tell me y'all make some reparation? I've listened to the previous call. He ain't worth mentioning his name to me. But cause I'm saying, brother, make it make sense. So
Make
if they
it
had
make
a problem with
sense.
the black farmers rightfully getting money that was owed to them, and somebody stepped in. I think it was a gentleman by the name of what's that white guy name in the White House? Stephen Miller filed a lawsuit to keep the black farmers getting their money. And Stephen Miller's that same person as in Donald Trump is now. So how in the hell do y'all think y'all get some reparation with these people in the White House? And y'all got to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. These people not playing no chuckle. They playing chess. Here's my point. When Donald Trump got elected the first time, see, they knew they had to stack the courts, the federal courts. That's what power was. You follow me? They were putting their pawns in place, and that here the foundation. They got a hand in this. You get the federal courts on your side first. We don't care what the state courts do, because we're going to appeal it in federal courts. That's where we get our victory. And we got the Supreme Court as well, because Mr. Conlon had a hand in that. So these people plotted a long time where they figure, get the court first, the federal court. Then we'll go to part 2 of our game plan. But black brothers say, oh, we could add that on to the, for the reparations. Come on, man, really? I wasn't going to call it first, but Paris, I like when y'all handle that. Because they really, this the same government told black farmers, when Stephen Miller filed that lawsuit, y'all not about to get this money that's rightfully y'all. And they still, then you bring some farmers from South Africa over here, get them land, and everything.
And give them money and set them up, and then they get mad, take the money, and go back home because they don't like the how much everything is over here.
And then you brought them on a first-class flight over here. They didn't come on the ship, so to speak. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, man, y'all keep up the good work. Terry, you and Sharon, don't y'all just keep speaking y'all truth. Keep speaking the truth like y'all doing, brother.
I'm going to stand here and tell you, I am not going to agree with Paris Eley on everything. All right.
Paris may always be right, but you're never wrong.
Thanks.
And you can believe me, Chris tells you when he thinks you're wrong.
What's
and that's
on
to
his
be
mind?
expected. I mean, Sherman and I don't agree on it. As a matter of fact, it's a statement that I just let it go by when I hear a statement like that. Because we're living in a country that is statistically 50-50. 150 million people believe one thing, agree on one thing. 150 million people agree on another. It's just a matter of what they are agreeing on. So on the other stations that he listens to, that's just a bunch of people who agree about the same thing, agreeing with each other. So it's a crazy ass argument for me.
Well,
all right?
I had no problem with that. No problem with him.
Yeah.
I still say if you find people that you can get along with, what's the point of finding people you don't want to get along with? What is the point of it? I'm sorry, caller, you're on.
Hey, Uncle P in the Watchmen.
What's up?
Man, I'm just enjoying it. You know, I just want to say, I know Malcolm. And Malcolm stood staunchly on the platform of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
But respectfully, I got to say this to you, just out of fairness. I didn't ask him about Malcolm. I would prefer that you don't. Okay, let's not do that right now. Let's not do that right now. Simply because I have enough time, a difficult time getting people focused. This is where we lose it. Like somebody was calling earlier and talking about personalities and policy. I'm talking about policy. That's what we have maintained. I've said repeatedly. I'm talking about policy, right? So out of respect to you and Malcolm and a cup of coffee as well. Just give me the rest of what you got to say, and then we'll get to Malcolm another time. But we're on a short chain. Go ahead.
Trust me, that ain't what I called for. I was just gonna say this is that you can't bank on the fox to do right in the hen house.
Yeah, well, no, you can't do that.
That's what I call say. And now, moving to what I really wanted to say was this here. You can't be looking for a savior in a city full of fools. Look at how foolish we really have been duped, especially with these sports teams. These owners have extracted tax monies from you, the people, to build these huge stadiums and arenas. But then when these big games come up, then they raise the ticket prices up on you. At one point in time, you got to stop playing the part of a fool. They're writing the script, and you are playing the part, and your part is not partially honored as they claim every time you go to these games. Welcoming your Houston Rockets. Welcoming your Houston Texans. But yet, those ticket prices go up to those, especially the season holder ticket people. They will tell you that they don't even get first deal on the playoff ticket. They go up to them too. So what part are you playing?
It's business. If they can get it, and that's why I tell people, he's talking about gas is going to go down as soon as the war ends. If you believe that, I got some freshly plowed land in Baghdad you can have tomorrow for a low price. It's not going to fall. As long as you are paying the price for gas prices will stay up there. That's all there is to it. It's money.
And that's why I said that about the Fox. You waiting for the Fox to do right in the hen house.
It ain't gonna happen.
That will not happen. I'm done, y'all.
All right.
You're right, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
your
much,
call,
man.
brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, man. It's finance. It's business. It just makes sense for them to continue charging you the price you're paying if you're going to continue to pay. That's all there is to it. When we stop paying $5 a gallon for gas will go down to $4.50. When we stop paying $4.50, it'll go down to $4. But as long as we're paying it, it's gonna stay there. They blame it on inflation. It's not inflation. It's what you can stand. And they're gonna push you until you can no longer stand it. That's just my opinion. And I appreciate Mr. Eley. I appreciate you having me here, sir. My man always used to call in. He don't call in no more. He'll say, "Don't forget Shape Center," and I appreciate that. 1,000% Shape is moving forward. The building, the Live Oak building, is in the process of being rehabbed right now. And there is a plan to reopen it before the end of the year. I'm not sure exactly why. They still need money. I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly when, but they do still need money to do the projects and the programs that are still going on and still there. And if nothing else, man, I'm sure they're saving money on air conditioning because they don't have no air in that other building. But it's still, this is not free. Everything costs money. And Shape has to pay electricity and gas and air and everything else just like you do in your home. So don't think that, oh, so-and-so gave them this much money. So they don't need any more. That always comes up. It's always going to be an issue. And it's a community-based organization. That's you. You are the community. Do what you can to help Shape Center.
All right. We thank you so much. We are the source. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we are the source. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here with us, everyone. We are back. We are back. We are going to extend our program, and I got a surprise coming up for you during our broadcast this week. We're going to have a very special guest. We certainly are, and we got a special announcement to make. We are the source. It's 11 a.m. Meanwhile, we'll continue our conversation with you. We are online, 713-668-1230, 713-668-1230. I understand that our YouTube, that we are not on YouTube, so we're going to have to investigate that, and we'll have further conversation with you. Meanwhile, you can call 713-668-1230, 713-668-1230 if you want to continue the conversations that we were having, and I'll give you other information as well about the news of the day, Sherman, and some of what's going on. We've got Iran and the United States having broken a ceasefire, and we've got Iran and Israel involved.
Iran.
Yeah.
Missiles at Israel. And Tehran is warned of retaliation after strikes on Lebanon. World news, guys, world news that basically has originated right here with your president. Okay, I'll say he's mine too. He's president of the United States of America, and that's where I live. But it's funny that Israel is okay striking Iran, but when Iran strikes back, they want to. Why y'all? Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why y'all doing that? And when you start a war, when you start firing on people like that, expect the blowback. Don't just pick on the little guy and think he's not going to swing.
Yes.
It's just that way, probably the way it is now.
Right.
We're going to continue on?
Yes,
You
indeed.
ready?
Hello, caller.
Hello, caller.
German in Paris.
Yes.
How y'all doing today?
All right.
Yes, I'm enjoying the show, watching you on YouTube right now.
Okay.
You got us now?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, good.
All right.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
All right, man.
That's good to know. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. We are the source. So maybe the connection is, let's see, we're going to try this way. I'm saying a browser has blocked my mic and camera.
He's watching us on YouTube now,
He's
so
watching
hey,
us, yeah.
we
So he
need to
sees
see
what's
what's
up.
going on.
So he sees what's
Let me
up.
see if I can
Yeah.
find it. YouTube.
Let's see.
There I am.
Entering there you are. Oh, there you are. And there we be.
No, it looks like we're back. We're back. All right then.
Well, yeah, I got to get into the studio and see. Join without a mic and a cam. I don't know how I can do that. Let's see. Maybe so. Maybe I can.
On top of my head, there's my beautiful wife, and there I am. I know
Tips
I got,
from Gilbert.
I didn't do hair and makeup. I should have, but let me see some more pictures there, producer. There's now my mother-in-law is 80, and she had, I believe, 8. There were 8 of them in the family, and now there are 6, and so there they all are. They're all still kicking. Hold on, don't go too fast. This is my mother-in-law right there with Dee Dee, and there I am doing a selfie because, I got to do my selfies. And where's her cake? There's her cake. And there were wonderful pictures, and they look straight out of something in a history book because there are so many pictures. That's her baby picture. So that picture there on the right is 80 years ago. It's hard to believe, 80 years ago. And that's her when she got married to Dee Dee's father, of course, who's no longer with us. It was a wonderful event, and boy, I'm so glad we were able to be there together with her on her 80th. I'm going to keep going because the show's headlining act, of course, is going to be Chris Kennedy. Where is Chris Kennedy? We have an opening, and at the end, he'll see it. This is something that my producer team put together. It's a wonderful thing. It's all about the World Cup coming to Houston. And I have all these great factoids all about the World Cup that I'm going to be going through. And it's going to be really one of the biggest shows on earth ever. Is he on? Chris, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just great. You're looking quite handsome there. You look just like your picture there in my thing there. You can't see it, but we have a picture of you. This is the man with the plan. This is the man who brought, give it up for him. I have a studio audience here. This is the man who really worked tirelessly. Chris, what was it, 6 years, 8 years? I mean, it almost seems like your whole life was meant for this moment. How long did you work on this thing again?
Well, I started working in this role back January of 2019, 7.5 years.
Wow. 7.5 years. I mean, this is the man with the plan because he has devoted 7.5 years of his life. Of course, he took off from a wonderful job being the head of the Dynamos, and then he took on bringing FIFA here. And remember, you don't just get FIFA here. You got to apply. All the world wants FIFA. And we put together a team, and I'm just going to go through a couple of fun facts here because it's pretty extraordinary. And let me get my things together here as I want to get my fun facts. Because it says here in the Houston Chronicle, and Chris, you can connect or be the the fact check for us. The majority of the games will be in the United States. There are 11 host cities, including Houston. And what's interesting is it's going to be huge. It's just going to be huge. They say it will be the biggest event that the world, the whole planet has ever had, ever before. And I think it's true, and have a lot of factoids all about all these things that the Chronicle put together that I'm going to go through. But is that right? It's going to be 11 host cities?
Well, there's 16 host cities.
Oh, I'm
Gilbert,
so sorry.
there's,
Yes.
Yeah, there's 11 in the U.S., and there are 3 in Mexico and 2 in Canada.
Well, you can see me, if you can see me, Chris, because I'm told that the opening game is Mexico. And so I have my Mexican jersey on with Arlette Molina here, and she's got her Mexican jersey on because, you know, people in Mexico are just so soccered up. It's unbelievable. You talk about stadiums that are amazing. If you go back into Brazil, some of these stadiums are well over 100,000 people. Azteca Stadium is humongous. This is just a real happening. And I think one of the great things is the whole world comes together, the whole world, and everyone is excited and shows their pride in their countries. Chris, talk a little bit about that. What do you think it really means, the pride for these countries? Especially because, if I'm not mistaken, there are 3 new countries that are going to be in the World Cup tournament.
Yeah, well, three of the 3 of the new countries that are playing in the World Cup are here in Houston to play, as Uzbekistan, Cape Verde, and Curacao. So there's more than that across the whole tournament, but 3 of them are here in Houston making their World Cup debut, which is exciting for Houston because many of those countries are going to bring a lot of their fans here, given the fact that this is so exciting for them.
Well, I saw that this is a factoid from the Houston Chronicle. It says that there are 2,900 people from Curacao scheduled to take charter planes to Houston for their first match against Germany on June 14th. And according to yours truly, more than 1% of the entire country's population is coming. That is unbelievable. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard through a very official source that 4,500 people from Curacao are coming into Houston this weekend for the game. So that is an impressive number. And it should be exciting to have them all here for their first ever World Cup match against Germany that kicks off Sunday at noon.
Unbelievable. And, of course, I'm just going to go through some of these factoids and tell me what you think about some of these. It says here that the Fan Fest, of course, the Fan Fest is the official, I don't know what the right word is, party or sort of the get together, all the, it's kind of the equivalent of what during the, not the World Series, during the Super Bowl, we had the whole NFL experience. During the some of the other NBAs, you know, you have the sort of the whole thing going. But the Fan Fest footprint is going to be 352,000 square feet. Is that correct? That's
yeah.
humongous.
We have a massive venue that we've created out here in Edo, and we're going to be open for 39-day period from June 11th all the way in to July 19, and we're going to be viewing all 104 of the World Cup matches, including the first match this Thursday, the one with your jersey, Mexico, playing. So it's a free event. Admission is free, and we hope a lot of people come on down to Houston or down to Edo to see the fan festival here.
Well, just to put that in context, 352,000 square feet. A typical building downtown is about anywhere from 25 to 35,000 square feet per floor. So that's essentially 10 floors. If you stacked up all the floors, 10 stores in a high rise, that's how big this is. This is going to be enormous. What's going to be inside? I'm told there's going to be about 60 performers taking the stage during the whole event. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a great venue. We took a lot of space down here in Edo that included parking lots, streets, green promenades, warehouses, and we've built a very unique venue out of it. Of course, the main thing is for people to come and watch the matches. All 104 of the matches will be screened live on the main screen in the main viewing area. We've got 3 large screens that people could watch it on with a live stage for entertainment. And in between all the matches, we will have local musicians and other types of acts performing on the stage. But we have a full soccer field where kids are going to be playing. We have a space called Houston Hall, which is a tribute to our culture in our community, which has a lot of awesome stuff in there, like rodeo and art cars and space. And just a ton of great food options from all the local eateries, and so much to do here. It's an exciting thing for people to come to, and the beauty is it's free.
I can't wait for a funnel cake. I hope there's funnel cakes in there, because that's my favorite, the funnel cake, when I get a lot of powdered sugar. That's what I need. But I want to go more, Chris, if you don't mind, because tell us a little bit about this whole thing about the magic sky and this sort of thing. I saw something about the magic sky is going to block some of the sun. I don't know what that really means, but you know what? It sounds great, and it sounds, cutting edge. Is that going to be some sort of, I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, it says here that the whole stage area is 144 feet from edge to edge. I mean, this is enormous. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So you've got stats and data that I don't have, but it's good to hear all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you've got so many facts and figures. You got the main stuff. I've got some of the fun stuff. But let me ask you this. It says that we brought in 81,000 square feet of grass. I can't even imagine 81,000 square feet of grass, but it just sounds incredible. And by the way, when you think about the Super Bowl, this is like multiple Super Bowls all in one tournament. We tend to think that because we're so U.S.-centric, and rightfully so, we're all very patriotic. But at the end of the day, this is a world event that brings all countries together, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Eastern Europe, whether it's in Africa, whether it's every continent, but Antarctica is what I'm told. Every continent, South America, Latin America. And, the biggest star, of course, is Ronaldo. They say that he is the most followed person on Instagram. Are you ready for this, Chris? 665 million followers follow Ronaldo. Is that unbelievable? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think his total social media following, when you include other accounts, is well over a billion. So he's probably the most famous person on the planet.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, imagine that. He can't even, come outside and stretch his arms or anything without, everybody knowing that he's doing it. But it says here, there are 9 countries that are going to play in Houston during the group stage. They are combined 24 top 4 finishers. So in other words, we have a lot of some of the best teams that have been some of the most successful in the tournament playing here in the Houston stage. It's going to be incredible. And so what are we doing? What's sort of security for all this? Do we got some sort of extra security for all these players and everything else? Uh-oh, did I lose Chris?
Gilbert, I apologize. I'm having a hard time hearing you right now. I might need to disconnect and check back in.
Don't worry. Go for it. Go for it. We don't want to lose you. Meanwhile, we got plenty of things to keep talking while you kind of tune out and tune back in. I want to show a picture of a good friend of mine, Dee Dee Salas. Her granddaughter is all ready for the match. Show us the granddaughter there. The other granddaughter. There you go. Look at her. That's what I call a fan. And she's getting ready for the opening match, which, again, is Mexico. That's her Mexican jersey. We're all celebrating Mexico, not because, look, we're all about U.S. all the way, but it's about the opening match. It's going to be in Mexico City or Mexico. I don't know if it's in Mexico City.
City.
In Mexico City, and it's going to be enormous. Tell us about it. What stadium is it, and how many people do we expect to be there?
It's in the Azteca Stadium.
It is, right?
And they're playing South Africa. And you're right. It's the kickoff. And I think everyone in the world is going to be watching that match because it's just the start of all the fun.
I think that's one of the biggest stadiums in the world.
I think so.
And, tell us about what you heard, what happened at Texas A&M. Because at Texas A&M, they just had one of these, I don't know if it's called a warm-up game but essentially a pre-FIFA, et cetera, event. and it was there in the famous, of course, Aggie Stadium. How many people showed up for that game?
I was shocked, but it was 91,200 people. The whole 3 levels were packed.
91,000 people for a game that's not even part of the World Cup.
Exhibition.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I bet you a good portion of those people were from Houston, Texas. I bet you, but I don't know. We'll have to fact check that. Keep seeing it. Mr. Canetti comes back on. But at the end of the day, we are starting to learn and love soccer. And by the way, I want to make sure that Chris sees this. But yours truly, which is me, I have coached 40 seasons of soccer in my life.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm not bragging or anything, but we had the city champs 2 years in a row, and 1 year we were in the semifinals. We didn't quite make it. We lost 1-0, and we didn't make the finals that year. And, of course, in my youth days, not my youth days, but in coaching the youth, we were undefeated for most of those seasons. Yeah, so, and it's all about teaching the players and the kids, because they're kids, to learn about team, working as a team and to believe in something bigger than themselves. And I always say, remember, if they score on one of us, they score on all of us. And if one of us scores, we all score. And I really think that was the foundation of the success that we had all those years at Corpus Christi Catholic School and there at the YMCA. So I love soccer. I've been a soccer person my whole life. I played youth soccer. I played high school soccer. I was on the varsity team. It was a club team. And I loved it. And, of course, we had tremendous success ourselves. So tell me, when was the first time you fell in love with soccer?
In the 60s.
Oh, my God. You must have been 2 years old.
I was very young. But I was in Guadalajara, and the World Cup was in Mexico. And Mexico and Brazil had won that day, and we arrived in the early evening, and the streets were packed with people saying, Mexico, Brazil, Mexico, Brazil. And, this is one thing, as a child, it leaves such a impression. And that's why I think it's so important for the children to be seeing what is going on with the World Cup, watching the games, being part of all the hoopla and the fun that's associated with the biggest event
ever. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. Because not only is it all these countries, and we got to get Chris back because I believe it's 40. I got to get that exact number of countries in. It seems like he's there. Let's see if he's there, team. Chris, are you there?
Yes. Sorry about that.
No. We're all great. Tell me, Chris, how many countries are going to be playing in the tournament? Do you recall?
Yeah, there's 48 teams in the tournament.
How many? 48?
48.
And so it really is. Am I correct that it's every continent? You can't even say countries when you have that many. It's every continent except Antarctica. And when you think of all that number, we'll have to fact check this, but I bet you the UN is only 140 or something like that countries in the UN. At the end of the day, it's a big part of the whole globe. And I bet you if you looked at the population of people, it really represents the vast majority of people here on the whole planet. And they're all coming in. They all are very patriotic. These are incredible athletes. And by the way, Chris, I want to show you something. Go back to my there we go. You see that? I don't know if you can see that, Chris, but you can see.
Yep.
I coached 40 seasons of youth soccer, so I'm the real deal. And I played high school soccer. And are you ready for this? We won the city championship 2 years in a row. And we, of course, on that third year, we got in the semifinals, and we lost 1-0. I felt like maybe I was outcoached. I don't know. They had my number. And all three of my sons played, and one of my sons was just very, very accomplished. They retired his cleats in middle school because over his 3 years of middle school, he scored 85 goals. And he was just quite an athlete. But let's keep going because I understand that, there's an average of 3,000 people that are from Mexico that are now having reserved seats in Shell Energy Stadium to really watch a lot of the games. I mean, it's just unbelievable what people will do because they're so excited, they're so involved, they want to be part of it all, to really be engaged in this incredible thing. And I want to talk about some of the, I don't know if this is like community, but the bottom line is I saw another factoid as part of the free kick soccer program started by the host committee, which is you, of course, that there are 23 soccer fields across Harris County that are being built or refurnished. Is that correct? How incredible.
That is correct. We work very closely with all 4 county commissioners from each precinct, and we identified fields that were in areas of need, where there are underserved youth, and we are getting these fields repaired, redone, in some cases built from scratch, and then we're working with local youth soccer organizations to bring real organized soccer to these fields, to these neighborhoods, and then those organizations will be providing these kids with over 1,200 scholarships to play club soccer.
That is so incredible. My hat is off to you. Tell me, I mean, who is that normal? I mean, who inspired y'all to do all these? Not only have a great thing to bring in business and commerce and everything else, but to really do something for the community to leave a big footprint here. I mean, whose great idea was that?
Well, that was, I'm not sure it was anybody's great idea, but that was the mission from day one, that we leveraged this event to help make Houston a better place. So there are literally dozens and dozens of things that are going on that people may not see or make the headlines that are going to help this city and this region be stronger going forward. Last week, we released a video alongside Downtown Houston Plus, the City of Houston, the Partnership, and Houston First, and Metro that showcased over 200 organizations that have on their own made over $500 million investment in our city to improve roads and drainage, plant trees and art and fields and you name it. So this goes way beyond just 7 soccer matches down at Reliance Stadium. The impact is going to be felt for a long time.
Well, can you believe, Chris, it's here after 7.5 years or, all this time? You were destined for this moment. This is the crescendo. Obviously, you're still a young person, and that comes from someone that, I think I'm a young person. You got a lot more time to go, but at the end of the day, this is how can you ever top this? Are you ready? This is it.
I am ready. We're ready. I don't know how to top this. It's been, really a wonderful experience up to this point. I know it's only going to get better when all these people come to Houston. All Houstonians get to celebrate the World Cup, and we just have a lot of fun over the next 5 weeks. So it's going to be awesome, and I'm actually kind of sad it's going to.
Well, you know what? I think we're all going to be sad, but you know what? We're going to be better for it. And going back for a second, I think that, one thing you got to do. Oh, by the way, we keep having a lot of people that are hitting things, and that I see someone that says, "I'm so excited to watch the World Cup." There you go. Houston's such a diverse city. I'm just reading some of these as they come on. We're ready for FIFA. Thank you, Oliver. I'm just reading some of these things for you. It's so great. FIFA's going to use some of their funds to improve the soccer pitches of Moody Park. There you go. Dom, I see your comment there. But going back, you know what you're going to need? You're going to need a vacation. Maybe you're going to have to go to Disneyland or something. You're going to need a vacation. It'll be well deserved, Chris. They're well deserved. I want to go through a couple of really famous moments in World Cup history. Of course, the most famous one ever has to be the Maradona Hand of God. I don't know how much you know about that. You may know a lot more than me, but when you go and look it up, it's all there. And it talks about the quarterfinal between Argentina and England. And Diego Maradona, of course, scored the opening goal. And he apparently, we don't know if he did or didn't, and there's some pictures of it, that he punched the ball into the goal, but he said he didn't hit it with his hand. And it was what's called the hand of God, because they looked at it from many different angles, and you can't tell if he really hit the ball with his hand or not. But that is the most famous moment. It is also called essentially the goal of the century that he then did later on. And that was in 1986. Do people still talk about that, Chris?
That's a famous goal, to your point. I'm not sure it would have held up today. I do think instant replay might have pulled that one back.
It's quite possible. But you know what? It makes incredible folklore. The hand of God, the whole thing. I'm going to do another one. I think it's the name of the stadium when it's called Maracanazo. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but it was the number 2. It's the greatest upset in 1950 in the tournament's history when Uruguay shocked 200,000 Brazilians to win the final 2-1. And that's what made Brazil, I guess, changed from their all-white jerseys to their incredible yellow jerseys today. Can you imagine 200,000 Brazilians to watch that and the disappointment to lose 2-1? I don't know if you are aware of that or not, but I wanted to bring that. That was number 2. What do you think about that there, Chris? Can you imagine 200,000 people, the logistics to that?
No, pretty awesome. You're giving me a history lesson. No, that's good to me.
There you go. Well, then you're going to love this one, too. The French legend in the 2006 World Cup final, I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong, Zidane, was playing in his final career match. So this is his final career match. And during the extra time against Italy, he got into a big altercation with another player, and he headbutted the defender in the chest, and he was thrown out with a red card. And then France went on to lose the match. Can you imagine that? Here, I'm showing the pictures there, and you can see he just headbutted the player, and you can see the player on the other team, going down. You can see the whole headbutt there. Incredible. For those sorts of dramatic moments can just change like that, and the emotions are so high. And so I don't know if you were aware of that one, but that's the great headbutt.
Yep, I saw that one.
Did you? I mean, that is so incredible. I'm going to give you another one. Pele, of course, is one of the greatest players in the history of all players in just about any sport. Did you know, Chris, that in 1958, Houston Harris County, in 1958, Pele was just 17 years old. 17 years, 249 days to be exact. He's the youngest player to ever play in a World Cup final. And he played and scored 2 goals in Brazil's 5-2 victory over Sweden. Can you imagine someone at 17 years old scoring 2 goals in their first World Cup final ever? There's a picture of him there being held up by the team. Can you imagine being 17 years old, being launched on the world stage, and now he's been called the king of football? Can you imagine that?
No, that's unbelievable, and it's probably a lot more rare back in those days. But you are seeing the players getting younger and younger in tournaments. So do expect some of the stars of this tournament to be young. Maybe not that, but there are some teenagers, guys in their early 20s, who are the big stand-up.
It's just amazing. Well, Chris, let me ask you. If you had to do it all over again, looking back, is there anything you would have done a little bit to tweak this or that? Or is everything just like, you know what, it's just going right according to plan and we're ready, and it's just kind of like the crescendo of, I'm just thinking of an analogy. I can only imagine the astronauts or the head of NASA when they're trying to go, when they were first going to go, I don't know if it was Apollo, which one, when they were going to go land on the moon, and it's like 3, 2, 1, liftoff, and here we go. I mean, can you imagine? That's what this feels like to me. Something extraordinary of bringing the World Cup to North America and to the U.S. and to Houston, Texas. What do you think? How you feeling? What do you, is this it? This the crescendo?
Well, yeah, it's like Christmas Eve now, right? We're ready for the presents to be under the tree and ready to open them and go. That's the level of excitement right now. So, we get going on Thursday with the Fan Festival, and then on Sunday with the first match, and we'll see how things go over the next 5 weeks. I hope that I can come back on the show and tell you everything went according to plan, wouldn't change a thing. So we'll have to wait.
We're going to bring you back for sure. Are there any extra things we're doing, just for, I'm making it up, I don't know for sure, but Are we doing anything extra about extra security, extra things? I mean, is there, what sort of things are we doing a little bit differently just because of the magnitude of this all? I know there's been a lot of investment in different parts of the city. I know there's going to be all these sort of, fanfares and different things all over the city. But is there anything extra on security? Is there going to be anything different about to get into the stadium? Anything that we need to let Houston and Harris County, the citizens know that, hey, you're now going to be going through this door, or make sure you don't bring in any, food or anything. I mean, what are some of the rules that might be a little bit different that they should know about? Chris, anything come to mind? I may have lost Chris again, but we'll try to bring him back. So, Arlette, tell us about all the things that you're doing, because you're going to have your own, it's not a fan fest, but your own essentially celebration of the whole, FIFA. And let's see some of the pictures of what she's got, because I saw like a big, and by the way, your whole event center is about 60,000 square feet?
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's humongous.
It's on 2501 Commerce Street, and it's about 500 feet from the Fan Fest. But we have air conditioning, we have wonderful bathrooms, and we're going to be watching all the games. And in addition, we have games for the kids to go there and use some of that energy, kicking balls, and we have a soccer field that's being set up, and it's just going to be something great.
Well, you just said the magic words. You got air conditioning. You just said the magic word. Let's go back. Look, I can see some of the game boards, and this isn't even. This is just the start, because it's not even.
We haven't finished.
Yeah, it's not even finished.
We'll be finished by the 11th, but we're working on it every day, and we've got all these inflatable games. I'm told that we have this human foosball.
Yeah, I want to know about the human foosball. For those of you who don't know what foosball is, essentially miniature soccer that you play on a table, and you have your people are all on a different stick. So there's like 5 on one side. Those like the midfield. You have a goalie. Then you have your fullbacks. There's 2 right in front. And so you have, 2 people typically on one side and 2 people on the other side, and you're playing. That's what foosball is, miniature soccer with a little bitty ball. Oh, here comes Chris. Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Technical problem.
Don't worry. I had just mentioned to you or asked you, just for Houston and Harris County, because, of course, we just opened our 6th radio station. And so we have 6 stations all listening to you right now. And so we have a big audience. It's Houston and Harris County. Is there anything different that people need to know about? Like anything related to you have this regulation of this big of a bag you can bring in or not? You got to come in this way. I mean, anything different about the logistics to getting into the stadium or parking or getting into the grounds of NRG? Anything that they need to know about?
Yes. I think people need to know about. I would suggest that the Houstonians are planning either a match stadium or the Fan Fest, that they go online. It's fwc26houston.com, and they plan their trip. Right? If someone just tries to show up at the stadium or just tries to show up here at the Fan Fest and haven't thought through the process and they haven't planned their goals, it might not be a great experience. But there are lots of rules, regulations to do with traffic that people want to know about and learn about before they go. So very strictly have a plan and arrive early and get all the know before you go from it.
So do that one more time. Tell us that website one more time and how the do's and don'ts, etc.
www.wc for World Cup, that stands for 26houston.com. FWC26houston.com.
FWC
26houston.com.
Okay, great. Houston, Harris County. I think Chris said it best, which is, you want to have a great experience, so it's best to get on there to make sure you know what you need to know to make your experience the best. How to get in, where to park, how to take mass transit, how to get on the rail, all those things, what the do's and don'ts, because that way you really have a good experience. The worst thing possible is to get there and, you can't do this, you can't do that. And, we got to just be very diligent, because there's going to be Lots of people. There you go. I see it now. www.fwc26houston.com. Everything's there.
Completely different for this for any other event that's ever been held at that stage before. The parking, the security, the rules, the regulations, all different. And so people really.
You're kind of going in and out. You're kind of going in. You're kind of going in and out, but essentially. Watch it. 2 yellow cards equals a red. So those are some of the things that go on in soccer. So going back for a second, the one thing I really want to see, and just let me know when Chris is back, is show me those inflatable things. You see some of these things when you see these people, they dress up like big sumo wrestlers, and they have that big inflatable thing.
Right, they have 2 soccer balls.
Yes, I want to see that.
And they get in the soccer ball, and
I want to see that. Hold on, hold that thought. I want you to go through it with us. Where's that thing on those inflatables?
It's the one that will have flags in the front. And
Yeah, it's one of the pictures that she sent there. Keep going. After that.
That's a Tesla car. We're going to have.
There you go. That's it. Right there. Keep go. Not quite. There it is.
There.
If we can see that, everyone. Hopefully you can see that. You can see all the flags of all the countries playing. You see in the back there those 2 big soccer balls. Well, those 2 big soccer balls are things that you kind of climb in, and then you can just go and wrestle with each other or bump into each other or just, go at it. But at the end of the day, no one can get hurt.
Right.
And it reminds me of what they have when they see those big sumo wrestlers, and you have them all
padded.
Yeah, all padded. But tell us a little bit about this and all the other things going on in your venue.
Well, there's all these a lot of little soccer fields where you can kick the ball into the goal, and then we need to hear you say goal.
Okay, I'm going to practice.
Do practice.
Okay, this is just a practice. I'm going to close with it because I'm not as good as the original, but I'm pretty good. I'm pretty close.
Let me tell you one thing before you do the goal.
Go ahead.
Tesla is going to at our location, which is 2501 Commerce Street, is going to be letting you ride a Tesla for free.
What?
You get it for the day.
Come on.
I am not kidding.
How do I sign up for that?
I've got connections.
My gosh! I've never driven a Tesla. In fact, I've only been in a Tesla like 2 or 3 times my whole life because just coincidentally, in an Uber or whatever, I've been picked up by a Tesla before. And it just feels really smooth. I want to be in one of those crazy Teslas, one of those trucks, yeah, that looks just like out of the movie Aliens. Remember Aliens?
Totally.
Actually, it was Aliens 2. It's called Aliens. And they had that, remember that? And they had that car. So maybe you can find that picture of that. And of course, it really busted through and all that kind of stuff. That looks like a Tesla to me.
It does.
It's incredible. But tell us more so you can have a Tesla for
a day.
Golly. Well,
for free.
I'm ready. Let's see if we can see that. That's show me the movie. Is that the movie there? That's the movie, right?
It looks a lot like the
That's
truck.
it, Alien. That is